once I released my first album and it went gold and it was like, you know, everybody starting hiring me, I was like, yo, you know, I want to do a show. So I wanted to do a show that was a mix of hip hop with you know, like I was a I wanted to do a show that looked a little bit like Jodeci, like and a little bit like was a mix of hip hop, zouk, and R&B. So I wanted the dancers dressed the same way as my dancers, and you know, and then yeah, sell that show for enough to be able to pay the dancers and pay myself and pay my manager. So all the prices are invented it's just for the story. I don't because I don't remember and back then it was in French. It was in francs anyway. So we here and we were doing all these shows and in the beginning everything was fine. So my competition was my friends, so Nichols, Ludo, and actually all the dancers were all coming more or less from the same dance crew, if I can say more or less. It was not the same people, but they were more or less from the same. Yeah, they were more or less from the same. You know, the same crew. So they all knew each other. So of course, between shows, they would stay together. And like always, like artists, they stay together. They start infatuating each other with fake stories and they're trying to show each other like, oh, I'm the best, I'm better, oh, I'm getting paid this, oh well, me, I'm getting paid that, whatever. And most of the time, that was not true. I remember that in equivalent, I like they were probably paid I don't know, €100 each or something, but I don't remember. But they were paid a certain amount. And so if let's say the show was 1,005 for me alone, I would pay 30% to my booker manager, so that would be 500, and I would get 1,000 for me. So that was you know, small clubs, like, and we decided to have a strategy when instead of doing big shows and getting paid more, we'd rather explore the world, go everywhere, and do a show for cheap and sell for 1,005, and yeah, sell like 2 shows a week, and it was actually great. And then I told my manager, I want to have dancers. I want to have something like, you know, I want to have something with. I don't want to be alone on stage. I want to have a crew of people, etc. And she was like, all right, okay, what you have in mind? So, you know, I hired those guys. So now I had, instead of just being me, so the perspective I'm seeing is not only my perspective as an artist, the perspective of the dancers as well, but also the perspective of the person who hires you. So we would do shows where in the beginning was just me and my manager traveling. We just come with CD-ROMs, with the song, and play with the first, the second, and the manager would there. And if we had to change something, the manager would be there with a DJ. So 2 people, 2 plane tickets, or 2 trains, 2 hotel rooms. That was my show for in the beginning. Then I just decided that, I want to do my show with my dancers now, and I don't want to do no shows with dancers. And my manager was, you sure? Sometimes some people cannot pay for. I was like, I don't care. If they want me, they have to hire me with my whole crew. So it has to be me, you, the manager, the 2 dancers, and Double XL, who's their manager, and who also does he ended up starting to do my backup vocal. So it was kind of a hip hop zouk R&B show with hip hop dancers and it was great. We had a great interaction with the public. It was amazing. But as a promoter, to have Kaysha now, you had to pay for one, two, three, four, five plane tickets, or five train tickets, plus four hotel rooms, sometimes five. So when, for example, when I did my show in Gabon, or when I did my show in Senegal, or when I did all these shows in Africa and other places where we had to take long flights and stuff, it would cost not only the price of the show, which of course in Africa it was much bigger price, but not only they had to pay for the show, but they also had to pay for the five tickets and the five hotel rooms. So actually my show cost a lot more money than just the show itself for a promoter, because you have to pay the cachet plus all the expenses to make everybody travel, make everybody move. You need two cars, etc., etc. The logistic of it was much different than when I was just me and just my manager. And my manager from time to time was always like, don't you want to have different options? Don't you want to have like shows where it's just you? And I was like, nah, I move with my crew. Me, I'm like that, like I'm very, when I have my crew, it's my crew. So I was like, nah, me, I move with my crew. It's just me. Like I don't want to do it. I don't want to be alone on stage. I want to have my guys. I want to do the choreographies, etc., etc. And because I was a dancer myself back in the 90s, yeah, I loved the idea of doing shows when we were also dancing, doing choreographies, etc. So after a point, the dancers, they start talking to the dancers of the competition. So Ludo, Nicole's, and they start like having this competition between dancers. Yeah, yo, when they all together. So yeah. So how much you getting paid for a show? Oh, so we changed the show. I think we put the show at 2,000. So we could pay, I guess, 1,000 for me, 500 for the management, and 500 to share to the dancers. Or maybe in the beginning it was 300. Let's say it was 300 for the dancers. So they would get, so back in French, right? Back in French money, but let's for the sake of the story, let's make it in euros. Let's say they would have both 150, 100 and 100. So that would be and 100 for the managers. That would be 300. And for whatever reason, the manager, the dancers of the others, they start telling them, "Oh, what? You only make 100 per show? We make 120." Oh, and so then my dancers start arriving to me and telling me, "Yo, how much the others make that much, and we only make that much. We are worth more. Your show without us is not the same thing. Blah 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 blah." And me, I was like, so I went to talk to my friends who were the competition. Yeah, how much you pay your dancers? 100. What about you? 100 as well. Why? Okay, I thought you paid them 150 or something, or 120. Nah, I paid them 100. Okay, strange. So I went to them. I said, I don't know, maybe your friends are lying to you, because yeah, you are well paid. You paid the price that every dancer is paid. And but they were like, they start like having this pressure of we start doing conversation, like, we want to raise, like, the show is nothing without us. We are blah 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 blah. We are the show. And I was like, okay, so how much you want? We want to get paid 150 each. So me, I was thinking, I talked to my manager. I was like, okay, listen, how much do we sell the show with the dancers? We sell for 1,008. Okay, so if we add like 50 to each of them, that was just 100 more, and like we sell the show for 1,009. I think it's I think it's fine. So that's what we did. We start selling the show, and listen, at that time I'm super popular. I'm the artist that everybody wants in their club. So, if you raise the price, and most people pay. So we raised the price of the show of 100, and for some time, everything was fine. After maybe 3 months, 2 months of performing around the world and traveling and going to the West Indies for the holidays for a whole month, stuff like that, and they come again with, yo, we want to be raised, we need a raise, da da da. I was like, yo, it's been a few months. No, listen, we should get 200 each because this, because that. And after the conversation, I talked with my manager. My manager is telling me, yo, if you, listen, I can try to sell the show for 2,000, but it's starting to be, it's clubs, it's the West Indian market, it's small markets, da da da. At a point, we will not be able to sell your show. And I was like, you know what? Try to sell it for 2,000, and we'll see. So my manager comes and say, nah, listen, at that price, it's hard. Like, you already are on the top of the Zouk market. It's too expensive. So I was like, you know what? Remove 100 for my cachet. I'll take 900 and give them 200 each. It's fine. We're doing a lot of shows. I prefer, And my manager is telling me, yeah, you know what, bro? I think you should do some shows by yourself and to show them that, hey, they are not the show. You are the show. It's your name there. And me, I was like, it's the crew, la da da. Hey, I was a dancer back then, and like, it's a job that, it should be valorized. I don't know how you say it, but yeah, it should also. Dancers are important, and I think it's a job that is not respected enough in France, and people love to talk about the artists, but they never talk about the dancers. They never say their names. It's like it's some anonymous people that are there, and they are an integral part of the show. And I believe that, listen, I don't want to be, and so I kept defending them, and my manager was always like, la da da. And now, look, listen, I can find you some new dancers that will accept to sing to dance for you for 50. And I was like, yeah, but listen, I don't want to exploit people. My goal is that we could do a show for 10,000 and I can pay them like 2,000 or 3,000. That's my goal. But for now, we're here. Yeah, let's, it's okay. Take from my money and pay them. Okay. So after that conversation, it was fine. They were not making 200 each per show. So they cost us now 500. My manager take 500 and I take 900. And we did that for another few months. And now they were claiming to their other friends, other dancers, we are paid 200. And the others who were paid actually 90 start telling them, oh, we are paid 250, which was not true. But, just by ego, they just wanted to show them that they're better than them. So after a few months, they come back to us. Yo, we want to be paid $350 each. And we like, wait a minute, like, are we gonna have to do these reunions every 2 or 3 months? And you're gonna explain to us that every month you want to be raised of 100 now? So then I was explaining to them, I was like, guys, you have to understand, Actually, I was not talking. My manager was doing all the talking. So she started explaining to them, listen guys, you have to understand the economics of this market. The market of Zouk in France and the West Indies is a small market. It's a small market where you guys are making how much? There's a certain amount that an artist cannot ask. Like most artists ask 1,005 for a show, let's say. Kaysha is already asking like 1,009, 2,000. This is already like big. This is we are approaching prices that you ask only when you have like those record label, you know, those that then it goes to another territory when you start asking 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, whatever. Just like and the market that we chose and the strategies that we chose is we make a price that is affordable for all the small clubs that are not more than 300, 400, 500 people. But what we want to do is make shows every week, 2, 3 times a week. And if you look at this in that perspective, not only you don't make per week 200, sorry, you make 600 per week. So if you look at it in monthly, you are actually making 2005, 2004 per month, which is actually great. A lot of people, they work all month and they only make 1,000 and something. You are making 2004. So listen, if you look at this way, and you are traveling, you're having fun, you're meeting girls, you're doing this, you're doing that, but in terms of economics, I cannot sell the show for more than 2,000 just for you to get the price you ask, and you keep asking for more. And they reply, but the show is nothing without us. Like, and okay, but you understand that, it's a question of economics. It's not a question of is the show great with you, And I asked them a question. I was like, wait a minute. If I sold my show for, I don't know, $1 million, how much would you want? If you sold your show for $1 million, clearly we want 400,000. And I was like, so wait a minute. If you are a barmaid or a barman in a club, and you get, I don't know the economics, but let's say you get 200 per night, or maybe you get a fixed salary of 1,005 per month. If the show makes, if we remove your tips, if the club makes, I don't know, 10,000 tonight, and in a month the show generates 100,000, you get paid 1,005. If the club makes, I don't know, it's a very good month, the club makes 300,000 this month, you still get 1,005 plus your tips. But let's say the club, for whatever reason, the club these last 2 months, they didn't make a lot of money. We only made 10,000. Bad economy, whatever, COVID, etc. You still get your 1,005. So I was like, wait a minute. If I'm the artist and you are my employee and you have your salary, why do you think that if I get paid more, I should pay you more when I can hire people for, now that I pay you 200 and something, 250 or whatever, I can pay other people 100. because there's a ton of dancers out there. But I choose to work with you guys and pay you more, and even pay you myself on my money, because I want to work with you guys. But at a point, when you say that my show is nothing without you guys, because of the choreographies, because of the fact that, yeah, I'm here singing and you guys are here, you tend to forget, and it's kind of disrespectful, because you tend to forget that it's my name on the flyers. And I'm really trying to not be disrespectful, but people come to see us, the show, but in reality people come to see me. And I can change the show and put different people, and people will still come to see the show, even if the show changes. If there's new dancers, people, I mean, listen, yeah, some people love you, some people saw you already when we came in a city 2 or 3 times, and they remember you and they like the fact that you are here. But they came to listen to my songs and see a show of, yeah, you dancing the choreography. But ultimately, and I was a dancer, so I'm trying to not be disrespectful, but ultimately they come to see Kaysha sing. And everything else, if tomorrow I put 2 new guys, for the people who come to see me sing, it's not going to change anything as long as there's people dancing. And what do you do, Ralphie? So I'm here trying to explain to the guys and trying to make them understand that at a point, and the manager was telling them, listen, economically doesn't work. If we just talk economics, we understand we want to pay you more, but the market is the market, and we cannot at a point we cannot jeopardize the fact that Kaysha needs to perform weekly. And if we put the price over a certain number, then there's a lot of clubs that will not be able to hire you guys, because it's going to be too expensive for them. And then don't forget that they also have to pay for the plane tickets, they have to pay for the train tickets, the hotels, food for everybody, restaurant, breakfast, etc. All this is the show. So when they pay $2,000 for the show, they also pay maybe another $2,000 for everything else. So that's the show can actually cost between $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 just because of making us arrive where the club is, especially if it's another country. So you have to think about all this, and this is the reason why we cannot raise you again for the 4th time in the month. And then they start saying, well, we can take on Kaysha's money. Last time he gave us money on his thing, he can remove another 100, so we get paid more. And me, I'm like, so wait a minute. By the way you think that you are worse, do you believe that let's say in another 2-3 reunions you keep wanting more money and we cannot pay you more, or we cannot change the cachet? Do you believe that at a point we should be like 500 for me, 500 for you, and 500 for you? That's what you believe? And they were like, yeah, maybe, because I mean the show is the 3 of us. And I was like, well. So after that, my manager tells them, listen, at this point we cannot raise the cachet, and I'm not gonna let my artist, I refuse to take another more money from the artist, because I'm sorry, I work for him, I don't work for you guys. And either you accept to be paid $250 per show, or either we'll just find somebody else. So, they were pissed. And I mean, I was sad because I really liked the guys. But they didn't say we don't want to work with you anymore. They said, starting today, we want to choose our shows. We will do shows. We want to have the calendar, and like some places like Senegal or in Africa where the conditions are not great. We don't want to go there. And maybe when it's in New York or Miami, yeah, we want to go in these shows. And we will start working with other artists. We'll start working with the competition. We'll start working with Nichols, with Ludo, and we'll start doing shows with who we want. Since, yeah, we're gonna work with who offers us more money. So of course, my boy Nichols was trying to make them work for him or for his artist and whatever. And me, I was like, okay, listen, if this is how you want to work, it's all good. I mean, no hard feelings. It's business. And for them, I felt like they were a little. I had a conversation with Double XL that day, and he was telling me because he was managing them, he was like, I've been telling them to stop, but the guys are obsessed with this. And I was like, well, it's okay. Listen, I like the guys, and I hope we can continue working together. So after a point, my manager comes to me once the guy leaves. My manager comes to me and she tells me, listen, bro, listen. Here's what I propose to you. We can sell your show for you alone for 1,005. We can sell your show with 2 new guys or new girls. For 2,000, I can find girls that will accept 80 or 100 per show, especially with the number of shows you do. And maybe we can even do some shows for 2,005 with 4 dancers. When it's a place where we go by car, whatever. There's a lot of modularity that we can put in your show, where you can either even go by yourself with just a CD-ROM. Back then it was more CD-ROMs or USB keys, but I think it was more CD-ROMs back then. You can go by yourself, and even people pay less, like 1,003. Me and you 1,005. You and some dancers. Since these guys don't want to be exclusive anymore, you don't have to be exclusive anymore. So maybe we can do a show that we pay 1,000 and 1,006 or 1,007, and we put 2 new dancers. And then, yeah, sometimes when you really want to do your full show, we do a show for 2,005 or 2,000 and something with these guys. And me, I replied to my manager, listen, Gillen, I'm a faithful person in friendship, in love, and in business. And I started with these guys, and I want to continue with these guys. This is nothing. This is just a little bit of misunderstanding. I'll sit down with them. We'll talk. Everything will be fine. Don't worry. Let me handle it. And she was like, oh, I still believe, in the calendar, look at your shows. You only do like 4 shows or 3 shows per month. You should do more, blah, 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 blah. Especially with the hits you have. I could fill up the calendar in a lot of small clubs for less money if you accept to go perform alone. And I was like, nope, I'm moving with my crew. Me, it's everybody and nothing less. So she was like, hey, as you wish, bro. Like, this is your career, this is your business, so we do it the way you want to do it. So after a point, I was talking to this girl. We did a show like in a city in south of France called Bordeaux, and I met that girl, some Asian girl, and I think one of my dancers met her friend, and we were just talking, and she was like, hey, do you have a show next week? I was like, nope. Do you want to spend some time and spend like the weekend in my house. I was like, why not? So I take the train. I go see her, and yeah, we enjoy our time. We there, we chill, da 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 da. Spend the weekend there, blah 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 blah. After, I think one night, I think it was like maybe two. I was there 2 days already, and she said, "Oh, listen, I wanna let's have dinner, but hey, don't you mind if I invite my friend?" And I was like, "Yeah, no problem." So she invited her girlfriend that we met that night at the show a few months before with her. And yeah, we spent the whole night together, having fun, talking, just chilling. And at the end of the night, she's there and she's like, "Hey, really have to tell you that I really enjoyed my night. Thank you for the dinner. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for, and you really are not like they say." And me, I'm like, yeah, of course, when you're famous, people always tend to, and especially a guy like me who always have his sunglasses, blah, blah, blah. People tend to invent a personality, and just because you're famous, people will say that he's like this, he's like that. But, people don't know me, so, And then she's like, "Oh, no, I'm not talking about the fans or the groupies or whatever, or the haters. I'm talking about, I'm having sex with your dancer. And he's been telling me horrible stories about you, like you don't want to pay him, you exploiting him, blah, 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 and you like this, and blah, 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 and and they're ready to move to the competition, and they had their, and me, I was like, so, long story short, I go back to Paris the next day. Very cold. Once I arrive there, I call my manager and say, "Yo, Guylaine, explain to me again what were the modularity that you wanted to introduce in the show." And she was like, "This is what I proposed to you. I proposed to you shows for this price, very cheap, for smoke clubs, less than 100 people, 200 people. And this one is just gonna be like free songs, free songs, open mic playback. You just come with a pen drive. The DJ plays free songs, and we sell these for X. Let's say, for the sake of story, let's say 1,000. Then we have the normal show where you do 45 minutes, and I'm here, I come, it's two people traveling, not one. And this one is gonna be 1,005. Then we're gonna do another show for 1,007, where I have these, we can go do a casting, meet some new, I have this group of girls, it's 4, they can come and you choose which 2 you like or whatever, or they send 2 of them every time, and we don't care who, and they all know the choreographies and stuff, and this one would cost 1,007. And then we have the regular show for 2,000 with your guys, and then it's 5 people, and we let the people who want to hire you decide how much they want to pay. And for us, the most important is that for you, you're gonna get the same money every time. You're still gonna get your 1,000. It's just the modularity of how we're gonna sell the extras. And we let people, if they have a big club and they really want your show, the real show, I'm gonna always try to sell the full show. But when people say, "Oh, I don't have that money," I can give them the option to take something less. And me, I was like, "Okay, go ahead." And she was like, "Oh, what happened? Why you change? What changed your mind?" And I was like, "Don't worry, just go ahead." So After I would say a month and a half, my manager tells me, "Yo, your new planning is in your new planning is what up, P chat." My manager tells me your new planning is in your email, so check it out and start putting everything in your no, I think we were using Google Calendar at that time already. So she's like, "Yo, your new planning is in your email and in your Google Calendar, so just check everything out." So I just go to the calendar and I check the planning. And instead of having 3 shows per month, I see the month of March, I have 10 shows. I see the month of April, I have 10 shows. I see the month of May, I have 10 shows. And I see cities like France, Belgium, Holland, a tour in New York, Miami, DC, Chicago. I was like, yo. So I called my manager. I'm like, "What happened?" And she's like, "Well, you letting me do my job, I can do my job. If you look at the details of each show, you can see in the emails that you have your same 3-4 shows monthly with your dancers, the big shows, and then you have a lot of half of the new shows are with the new dancers, those that cost less, and then you have a bunch of small shows in very small clubs that, yeah, they cannot pay you more, but they really wanted to have you, and they could not pay with dancers and stuff. And yeah, now they have a choice, so you have more shows. Economics, baby. And I'm like, wow. So she also sends the email to the dancers, since now they are not exclusive, so they just see that they have 3 shows with us. It's okay. But then I start posting flyers on MySpace or Facebook at that time. I don't remember. It's 2001, I guess. So I start posting on my socials that I have a show in New York, in SOBs, and then I have another show in Miami, and then I have a show in Club Matrix in Boston. Then I have a show in Rhode Island, and then I have this thing, and then I have a show in Queens, in Atlanta, and then I have one show in Montreal, then another one in Toronto, and then another one in Ottawa, and then after that I have 2 shows in the West Indies, Martinique, Guadeloupe, Guyane, South America. Then I'm back to Paris, and they realize that they are only in the shows in Paris and the shows in one in Paris and one in Belgium, and I don't know, the third one was somewhere. Maybe there was only one where they had to go somewhere or whatever. Plus they see that and they see I post on my social all the shows that are upcoming. I just post like on my website, all the things. So thanks a lot. So they see that I have shows in some islands like Comore Islands, Madagascar, these places, and they call me. "Yo, bro." So what up, bro? "Yo, hey, I don't understand. I received my planning, and in my planning it says that I'm going to Paris, Brussels, and whatever other place, but I see in your planning that you have like 30 shows. So how come we're not part of these shows?" And I replied to them, "Well, You guys said that you want to choose the shows that you want to go in, and that you don't want to be exclusive, and that you don't accept to perform for less than X. Well, there's three places who accepted your price, and everywhere else, I'm gonna be either alone or I'm gonna be with those two girls, just because, yeah, you guys are too expensive, and you guys are not interested in, yeah, working with me on other prices, and you said that you would go with perform with Ludo or Nichols or Thierry Cam or whoever. So yeah, that's the reason. So just like you asked for, we are now changing our show, and yeah, we have options of Kaysha alone, Kaysha with some other dancers, etc. And the guys are like, oh, it's like that now. And I'm like, what you mean it's like that now? That's what you wanted. You want no exclusivity. No exclusivity works both ways. So I don't understand exactly what is the problem. So the guys are, yeah, So now I hear them. Now I hear them talking. I hear them talking everywhere. They were pissed. They were like, yeah, oh, it's nothing without us, and his career is finished anyway, blah, 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 blah. He's he's has been already, da, da, da. There's a lot of new guys now. And mind you, we are in 2002. So I didn't release On the Quiet. I didn't release One Love. I didn't release Fiona. I didn't release Question My Heart. I didn't release all these songs. I'm just like second album. And I'm still singing, and I'm sorry, I'm still rapping. I didn't release any singing songs yet. So, and I like everybody is starting to say, and they are saying that my big shows and my big my big career is already behind me, because yeah, the last time he did a hit was Telephone and Bounce Baby back in 98, 99, and we already are in 2001, and he doesn't have no shows. So at that point, I moved to Belgium, and I start just coming to Paris just to perform. And yeah, I don't have that much shows, but I still do shows from time to time. And I start working with these two girls. They start, learning the show. And then it's interesting to perform with women. It's different than working with guys. So it's a different dynamic. It's great because when there's it's different. And like when in some songs, they bring guys to the stage. They dance on the guys. Like it's just a different dynamic. And those guys were so pissed and so hurt in their egos that they really start talking bad about me. And so I stopped performing for a few months. I still do some shows from time to time, but I'm recording my third album. And on my third album, so I got songs like Fiona, I got songs like Music Warrion and 88 BPM, and I also have songs like On dit quoi that nobody knows I'm doing. But so by December the show comes out, the album comes out, and I do my first ever show to present my new albums and my new songs. And all this time, so I haven't performed with the guys for a long time now, because I've been hearing a lot of things that I don't like. And so I'm preparing the big show, the presentation of my third album. It was a place called L'Île Marante in outside of Paris. And I don't invite the guys, because I decided to take the girls and to pay the girls a little more now. I want to raise them, and I want them to bring the other two girls of their crew, and I want to do the show with 4 girls. So we work on everything, choreographies, the show, whatever. But I keep hearing that those guys are insulting me, insulting the show, insulting the girl, saying that they whack, da 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 da. His show is, yeah, the show is nothing without us. We are the one, blah 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 blah. You're gonna see how, you're gonna see. He's been performing outside of France because he knows that his show is whack without us. So, I keep hearing the noise, but I don't mind it. Anyway, there's not gonna be nobody in that show. Okay. So when we arrive at the place to perform, to go backstage, the place is packed, and I think this place was outside. It was some party, but outside. So it was something like 1,000 people or 1,005 people. I don't remember, but it was packed with people. And everybody wanted to hear the new songs, and especially the new hit On Dit Quoi. But it was not a hit yet, but it was starting to, to be the talk, right? And so we are backstage, and with the dancers, the manager, I brought some friends, so everybody's backstage having a drink, etc., etc. And because the securities, they know that these guys are my dancers, of course the security would let them in. And all of a sudden, these guys who have been trashing the new show, they just arrived from nowhere. And so both of them had different attitude, because when you work with group of people, there's always going to be one who's going to be the instigator of problems and the other one who follows. So I knew exactly who was the investigator of problems. And those guys arrive. So one of them, I actually talked to him because it's his old story. We're fine now. But one of them, the one that is less problematic, he was the one who talked to that girl. He was the one that was having something with that girl from south of France. But he came more positive. He was like, hey bro, long time no see. Hey, good luck for the show tonight. We just came to, I was like, okay, hey, thanks. I know in the back of my mind everything he said, but all right. The other one didn't even say hi. He was just like, and me, I'm like, so wait a minute. I'm performing. You come to my show uninvited. You come inside the backstage, and you act like I owe you something. I told security. I didn't want to make a fuss out of it in front of everybody, but I told security, soon as we leave this place, soon as we go to perform and you close the VIP area, when we go back in, those two guys, you don't let them in, because it's supposed to be our private area, and there's women, they have to change, etc., etc. And me, I want to be left alone before and after the show, and then I will go out in the VIP to do all the photos, etc. But anybody that is not, or unless my manager comes and say that person, they don't come in. Okay. So from what I heard from people that were in the public that day, those guys were in the public watching, and they were trashing the show before the show began. Like, they were like, "How you gonna see? Yeah, without us, it's not the same. Like, it's over." And these guys didn't have a hit forever. That's what they were saying to some people from our circle while we were there. So I received text from friends that they are talking to, telling me this is what they are saying before the show. So me, I'm like, I received a text and I'm like, before performing, I like to clear my space from all negative energy and just focus on the energy I'm gonna give to the public and that the public is gonna give me. So I act like if nothing. I don't say nothing to the girls. I see the girls are a little stressed. I tell them, hey, it's gonna be fine. You're gonna kill it. Go out there and make it happen. Intro of the show, 1 minute, the girls alone, bah, doing a choreography. Everything is fine. Of course, it's like it's not the first time. It is the first time in a big audience, so they still learning. But yeah, we're giving them the space to perfect the show, right? So they start doing their show. They're doing their thing. And I hear everybody yelling. Everybody's screaming because it's like, all the guys are happy. And actually, I was like, interesting, because when it was me alone with guys, it was only girls that were happy. All of a sudden, the guys are happy because I have 4 sexy girls on stage, and they are talented. They are doing their choreography, and I can hear the guys that are happy and the girls who are screaming my name because they're waiting for me to arrive. So at the end of the choreography, boom, explosion, beginning of the song Telephone, and I arrive on stage, and everybody starts screaming. Everybody, the whole show, the lights, everybody in the public is yelling, Kaysha, and we sing. So we sing Telephone, then we sing. I show them a new song. I say, I'm going to sing to you a new song. It's called Fiona. Boom, I sing Fiona. Boom, I sing Music Warrior. Then I sing Mistake. Then I sing Bounce Baby, which is a hit, but it's already a 4-year-old song, but it's still a hit. So sing Bounce Baby. Everybody's like going crazy. And then I'm like, okay, I'm going to sing to you a new song from my album that comes out my album that comes out in a week. It's called On dit quoi, and when I say Kaysha on dit quoi, everybody say on va gâter le coin. So let's try Kaysha on dit quoi, on va gâter le coin. Yeah, you know it. Okay. So wait a minute, let me find somebody in the state. Let me find somebody in the public that's a great dancer. Who knows? And then I take somebody to dance. I put a little bit of the instrumental and everybody, and then I sing the song Kaysha on dit quoi, and instantly the song becomes a huge hit. So in the matter of 6 months, I would say, the song starts to be a huge hit in Paris. Then we hear that it is like the song of the decade in Côte d'Ivoire. From Côte d'Ivoire, it starts growing to every African speaking country, and at the same time from France it started being a hit all around France. Plus it's number 1 in the radio, plus it started becoming number 1 in Belgium, then Switzerland, then every European French speaking countries. Then we hear that all Africa, this is the song, etc. And at the same time we hear that Fiona and Music Warrior are number 1 in Angola and in Mozambique and in Portugal. And then we hear that in the US, On dit quoi is in Atlanta. This is the song, and every city is having their song from this album. And in Portugal, it's like the craziness. And all of a sudden, the career goes from what it was to 10 times what it was. The calendar is full 6 months in advance. Hey Nadia, the calendar is full 6 months in advance. The show costs more. We can now up the price a little bit, but enough to do a lot of shows and to be able to do small clubs. So we keep the option to do smaller clubs, and I end up performing for years just on those songs, plus other albums that I do. And I work with the girls until I left Paris, until I start performing less. I took the girls to the US, I took the girls to Canada, I took the girls to Comore Islands. I took the girls to the West Indies. I took the girls to South Africa to perform with me when I won the Cora Awards 3 times. I took the girls with me everywhere. And sometimes people, they were like, oh, we want to have you, but we would love to have the girl, but we don't have the money. I was like, I'll pay for the girls to come. And we did that for years. I think I performed with the girl for, I think, between 2001 until maybe 2000 and, I don't know, 2010 or 2011, like 10 years. Then I moved to Portugal. And even today, if I do a show and I need some dancers, if they still dance, because, now they have kids and like life has changed. But we had an amazing run and we did shows everywhere with those girls. And what I want to say with this story is, it's not the fact that the guys, but I want to show the lack of perspective that people have sometimes when they take their decisions based on emotions, and they take their decision based on what other people are saying. When I'm telling the guys, what we're doing here, we're going to do it for years and years and years and years, and we're going to have the time to change the price. We're going to have the time, but you have to look at it with the long-term point of view. And them, they just wanted to show their other people that they were making more than them. And all this time, every time the other dancers, or they were telling them, no, we're making this, we're making that, we're making this, what I was hearing, that when they started to, after that, they were trying to work with every other people. But the other dancers who were telling them that they were paid X, Y, Z, they were actually hired by the competitions, Ludo, Nichols, etc. And so these guys, when they went to those artists to say, hey, we want to dance with you, the artists were like, I already have my dancers. So how much you want? Because, you're Kaysha's dancers, right? Oh, interesting. So how much you want? We want $250 each or $300 each. And they were like, no, I pay my guys $100 each. So now I'm not interested. But I don't understand. Your guys were telling me that they were getting paid $200 and something. That's a lie. I never paid them more than $100. And that's when they realized how much they fuck up, because they were actually paid better with me, but because they were only interested in showing other guys that they were making more, they fucked a relationship. And I didn't work with them after that. I even didn't talk with them for a long time. After, actually, they never worked with nobody after me. And after, I don't know, years, 5, 6, 7 years, I don't know. Then Sushiraw was like the biggest label in the industry, and the artists I was producing were #1 as well. So I was really like on the top of the game. And at the point, when I start talking again to Double XL, and I start talking again to one of the two guys, and today we have good relationships. And behind the scene, like 2 of them told me, like, yeah, we fucked it up, and we let one of them fuck everything up for us, because he created a situation, and like you had a vision from the start, and we should have believed. But people outside were just, and that's the thing, where you are in my position and you have a vision, the worst people around you are the people who lack perspective and they lack vision, because those people, will only be interested in what they can have now, instead of building something. Because they can build something where they're not just gonna be dancers, they might just become part of the crew. They might even dance not only for you, but they can only dance for all your artists. And then once your vision come to fruition, You know what I mean? Friction, friction. When your vision realizes itself, you end up having you as an artist, Sumia, Elisio, ABG, Isa, Taina, Tia, and all of a sudden you have a whole sushiraw becomes this big thing, and you can just come and now you can dance for everybody, or you can choose who you want to dance, because now Kaysha is going up like this and he's putting all his people, and you can start either dance for all of us when we do a big show, and then you can be paid more because we're gonna give you money for every show you do for every artist, or you can even be the person who comes with younger dancers, and we pay you, let's say 200 for your new dancers. You keep 50, you give them 150, and you elevate while I elevate. But because those people lacked the vision, lacked the patience, lacked the perspective, they just wanted to grow bigger, and they thought that they were the reason why I had success. And I had to show them, nah guys, I have success because of the choices I make, and because of the talent, and because the team I have around me. So yeah, you are part of the success, but you are not the part that is the most important part. Of course you play your role, but you can be exchangeable. It is what it is. And the fact that I was able to do some shows by myself as well, some shows with dancers, those girls never had a problem with that. They were just available when they were needed, and they were just being paid, and they were happy. And like sometimes there were some shows where it was a promo show and they were getting paid when I was not getting paid, and they were super happy. And like sometimes it was crappy places and sometimes it was great places, but we were always having fun and enjoying the fact of working together. And some people sometimes in the beginning they think that, but sometimes because of fame, having sex with lots of strangers, having people talking to your ears, you lose the sight of that. And that's what happened with those guys. And that's why I wanted to tell this story about perspective and what I learned from that. And it also showed me that sometimes you want to be you are kind of obsessed with the idea that you want to work with your guys in a certain way, and you don't want to you refuse to do shows alone. And like I remember the first show I did by myself without no dancers, I was scared in the beginning when I was in the backstage, and my manager was like, "You've been an underground rapper forever. What are you scared about?" I don't know, I was in the center, the guys were on the sides, and she was like, "Just go do your show. You're a showman." And yeah, as soon as the intro started and I arrived on stage and I start dancing and taking space of the stage, I remember something. Not only am a hit maker, but I'm also a beast on stage. I'm a showman. I've always been one. And I'm a showman with or without dancers. And whoever is augmenting the show and augmenting the show with their talent is welcome, but not needed. And I kept that in mind in everything I did after. I can have somebody mix a song for me because they have talent, because I want to have their sound. But if they piss me off, I can mix my songs by myself. I have distributions, but I can distribute myself. I can wait for people to sing on my song for me on the second verse, but if they piss me off by taking too much time, I can sing by myself. I learned to make sure that I need nobody, so I can have the pleasure to work with other people because of the talent they have. But if they try to pretend that I need them, I can just remove them just to show them that I'm gonna make a hit with or without them. And it's something I really learned in life. It's my experience that being like that and being able to replace anybody makes me work with other people with more pleasure. And it's just like, whenever I have any problem with a beat maker, for example, or that is like, I don't know, he makes a hit for me and then he thinks that I need him, I'm just gonna make a beat and make a hit by myself just to show him, bro, I do beats myself. I need nobody. I work with people with pleasure because I don't need them. And the fact that, and I love to tell people, we don't need each other. But when we work together, we are strong. But it's important for you to know that I don't need you. And I hope for you that you don't need me. So that when we work together, we can do an exchange and we can do an exchange of business with pleasure. But I don't want to hear you out there in the street telling people that, I'll save this guy's career or whatever. Because I'm going to have to show you. Listen, I can do 10 songs in a row, week by week, and I make all the beats by myself. I can do it. I need half a minute, half an hour to do a beat. And like, it's proven that I know how to make hits. So it's not going to be somebody else who's going to... And this is why I love working with other people, because I'm getting another perspective, but I don't need them. And the people I work with today, I always try to teach them that. Try to work in this industry with people that you don't need, so that, if they are not available for you, there's no hard feeling. Or you can replace them with somebody who's available, or you can replace them by yourself, which is even better. So that whenever you get a beat by other beat makers, it's fine, it's great, and you do a great job, and and when they're not available, they're not available. You don't feel away, they don't feel away. And those were super teachable moments in my career. Even if it's like 20 years ago, I was having a conversation with one of these dancers, one of the guys, and we were talking about, the good old days, and the guy was like, yo, damn, like, we fucked up, it's too bad, and I was like, hey guy, bro, it's the past, like, now you have your career and you do your things, and I did my thing, and it is what it is. And he was like, but we could have done this, we could have done that. And I was like, hey. Avec des si, on mettrait Paris en bouteille.